It's Lancaster Woodturners Weekly Coffee Hour for November the 20th, 2025. It's number 280 in this series, believe it or not. My name's John Kelsey. I'll be your moderator as usual. I've got some club news that I want to start with right away. We are in mourning the passing of Ben Kauffman, who was our club vice president for 4 years, was throughout COVID, was instrumental in getting us our club space above Kauffman Kitchens. That's his family-owned business. Ben founded Kauffman Kitchens in his garage many years ago, making kitchen cabinets. The business evolved into countertop and installation specialists for nursing homes, for schools, for clinics, for old people homes around here with a fleet of trucks. And on their, I guess, third or fourth building, this current building is an enormous building, and they built extra space upstairs they thought to expand into. A mezzanine floor over the offices. Ben was the one who spotted that this big empty space, unfinished space, would make an excellent clubhouse at the time when the club had no home. And he was our shepherd into his family, or now his son is president and owner of the business, his son Kyle, who graciously let us use this fantastic space where we can meet and have our video equipment and our lathes set up and our wood exchange and everything else, very many of our club's activities. So we owe a big debt to Ben Kauffman. He was on a trip to Ohio with his wife, evidently was bitten by a mosquito carrying West Nile, I think, and contracted some very nasty form of encephalitis and died on November 13th. In hospital, he was brought back to Pennsylvania to be near his family, with all his family around him. He had quite a few children. He's survived by his wife, Sarah, and I think 4 children and their partners, who all live in the New Holland area. So I'm going to miss Ben. He was a presence in our club for a long time. He was a quiet guy, but he was solid as a rock.
How old was he, John?
He was 48, so he was 77, I think. 77 years, 6 months, and 22 days, it says in this card, very lovely card that I got from attending the viewing on, I guess it was Sunday night. That's Ben right there. So, anybody else with a word about Ben?
My one and only conversation was a very nice one. One time I met him up at the club room and we got to talking, and he said he has breakfast in the morning with a couple guys that are cabinet makers there in Lancaster. It turns out one of the guys was a co-worker of mine when I was just out of high school working in the cabinet shop. And he said, well, I'll tell Wilmer that you were I talked to you. And then we never talked after that. He was just a gentleman, wasn't he?
Yes, so. Very, very much a gentleman. He had a really nice shop and a 2-car garage behind his house in New Holland, with a big one-way in there and an enormous rack of tools in front of it, and a big, nice clear space. He did a lot of epoxy pours into walnut cookies that were rotted at the center to make into tables. That was one of his specialties. Ben was real clever. He knew how to make stuff.
He was also an expert forklift driver, as he many times he brought our lathes down and put them back up into the second floor on that little landing back in the corner of Kauffman Kitchens. And it was always a bit of a hairy situation, but he was an expert at doing that.
Well, I've actually shown video of that happening on this coffee hour a couple of times. Some of you might remember it. So that was Ben driving that forklift.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
This year he also took over the driving of the truck back and forth to the symposium, because he really loved to drive, and he used to he had a big camper that he and his wife would travel out to Ohio and out to Kansas to visit relatives with. So
yeah, he loved the camper.
I also like to comment that I got a couple of cutoffs from him from kitchen counters, a wide piece of walnut, a couple of wide pieces of walnut, and a wide piece of maple that I turned into the 32-inch platters I made. So all the wood that I got for my big platters came from Kauffman Kitchens and Ben.
Uh-huh.
And speaking of wide walnut, the month after I joined the club back in 2018, Ben showed up with from a single piece of walnut, he had turned a I think it was about a 28-inch diameter skillet with about a 10-inch handle on it, all from one piece. And it led into a lecture on safety on turning that kind of thing because of the handle going around there. And Doug, I'm sure you recall the conversation and the cautions on a plywood backboard because, as I recall, Ben did not take precautions on that thing, although he did a fine job on it.
Well, Barry and Ben and I were all on the club executive during COVID, and we had to figure out COVID, and we had decided together to keep the club going and to evolve into the hybrid meeting club that you guys all know today, with in-person meetings and in-person workshops and video broadcast meetings and Zoom things like this. So there you are. He was a great guy. I'm going to miss him.
Wood shop. Thank God for wood.